Hey guys, Master K here today, and I'm going to be going over a breakdown on the techniques of basic form number 2, which is what you learn when you are at white belt or yellow stripe. And I want to go through the 3 techniques that we do. We do low block, we do high punch to the nose, and then we also do high block as well. And I do a couple different sequences to help the students understand the form. So I basically do marching drills at the beginning of class. Now, one of the things you want to do if you're teaching is you want to make sure that the students understand about equilibrium, force, and balance. So certain drills you can do, like standing in a horseback stance, throwing the punch, you have to make sure that they understand that that hand comes out hard, but this other arm has to come back right to their belt at the same force that you punch out with. And that's a huge thing that you have to make sure the students understand, because I want them to have perfect balance when they're doing their performance and they're doing Kee Cho Hyung Ibu, basic form number 2. So the first movement that we're going to drill is the low block. Now you're going to step forward into a front stance, and when I do my front stance in class, our knee is bent directly over this ankle, the front leg, or if I just kind of glance over my knee, I can just barely see the toes, and the back leg is locked, all 10 toes are facing forward. Now this isn't the sport poomsae, some people call it, or the new WT way. This is the old traditional way. This is the way that I was taught by my instructor, and that's how I teach the students. If they want to start competing, we really get strict in the rules, but when you're just a student in regular class, I want to see the performance. I want to see who you are as a martial artist. Spirit-wise, mentally, physically, you're trying to show what a real martial artist is, what attributes they have. So your arm, with the front arm, is going to come up to the opposite shoulder, and my thumb is up, okay? And this arm is down across the stomach. I don't usually bring my arm lower than the belt, it's up here, and I execute a low block. So here, it twists down, and then I'm going to march the students forward, and again, their arms are crossed, and they come down. Hands come right on the side here. Now, some of the older traditional styles, they come up to the ribs, and some of the styles that aren't as strict or whatever, they come down to the belt. But the thing you want is consistency. That's the biggest thing that I look for. So if I see the hand all over the place, I'll say something to the student. But if I see that their hands are always placed here, that's what they look for in competition. So again, you're hugging yourself, this arm is up, come down and twist, and then we step forward in the front stance, and we go again with the aramaki, the low block. Stepping forward, down. You want to generate that power. You can see when I do it, this arm is coming back as hard as this arm is coming forward. You have to do that in your form. Okay, now the next one that we're going to do is the high block, or what we call udomaki. So we're in our front stance again. This arm is right by the hip. This arm is up high here, and I basically think I'm doing like a face masking call in football, and I bring this hand up. Now this hand twists at the end, and that pinky knuckle is up over the head. And then we're going to step forward again in the front stance, twisting up. And when I'm doing my marching drills, I'll have the students turn around and go back down the gym the same way that they came down. So you want to make sure that you have that high block down solid. And both of the blocks are actually self-defense techniques also. So like when you do low block, you imagine someone's grabbing your wrist and you hit it away. When you do high block, you imagine someone's grabbing your wrist and you're twisting it and you're blocking it upright as well. So both of them are self-defense moves. Again with the high block, bang, come up, again, right up over the head. You want to make sure that's not on your head, it's not too far back, at an angle here, so it ricochets off if they're throwing like a punch or something at you. If they're swinging a bat, don't block the bat. If you don't have to, try to block their arms. Okay? If you block the bat, you're going to break your arm. And if you have to block the bat, you have to block the bat. But if you can get their arms, that's better. Okay, now the other one we're going to do is stepping forward and punching to the nose. Okay, and you step straight forward, execute, punch to the nose. Step straight forward, execute that punch to the nose, and that's in your form as well. You're working on striking to the vital area. The nose is a vital area of the body. If you hit the nose, you can't see. If you can't see, it's hard to defend yourself. So you want to work that precision. And that hand, when you guys make a fist, I know a lot of beginners, I get angry because I see a lot of people with their, I call it hitchhiking, their thumb is up. You want to curl those hands in and then move that thumb on that middle knuckle right there, and everything's really tight, and you keep it like that. But I see a lot of students do what I call either their thumb is here or here, and I say, hey, stop hitchhiking. Okay, even some of the advanced students, not so much at my gym, but at other gyms I see too, they just get sloppy. And you know what? Martial arts is not about sloppiness, it's about discipline. So when you do your form, you want to show that you have an immense amount of discipline. So that's the 3 moves that are in there. Now there's some combinations that we do because of the way the form is. One of them is I step forward, low block in front stance, and then step forward in front stance, and then high punch. And I'll have the students do that drill down the school because that's one of the movements in their form. And then once they get down, I'll have them do it on the other side. The right arm comes down with the low block. They step forward and execute that punch right to the nose. So that's a combination that I have the students do when we're doing marching drills. And you can practice that at home, just traveling up, however you want to. And then the last one I do is I do left hand with the low block, and then you do 3 high blocks and key up on the 3rd one. So 1, 2, on that 3rd one. And that's the middle section of your form. Both ways lead with the left arm low block, and then there's 3 high blocks, right, left, right on the high block. So if you want to understand how to do the form, the best thing to do when you're teaching or when you're training is get the basics down first, get the movements down really strong, and then work on the combinations within the form because they are basic, and then work on the form itself. Whenever I practice the form, I don't usually do the whole thing unless I'm trying to put on the performance part. I usually break the form down and try to fix things that I feel isn't up to par. How I feel inside is really important when you're putting a performance on. My goal is always to try to do a better job than I did the previous time. That makes me feel good inside. That type of adversity is hard to overcome sometimes because you can put on a really great performance and trying to beat it is difficult. But once you do, or once you feel like you did, that's worth the hard work and practice. So let's review again. There's 3 movements in basic form number 2. One of them is low block. You're going to step in front stance, and we talked about the front stance. You want to do what we call preparation, and when you do it, the power that comes here is also the power that travels back here. And we call that equilibrium force and balance. Okay, and you're going to work on that on each side. The hand comes back on the side here. You want to make sure they're in your chamber. Okay, if you chamber high or low, that's okay in my class as long as it's consistent. Okay, I want to make sure that if you're on your hip every time. If you're a little higher, you're always like that. Then there's also high block. So you're here, you're reaching back. This arm comes up, this arm is like face masking, and it comes right back to high block here, step, high block here, and then the high punch to the nose. Step forward, execute, step, execute right to the nose. So you want to work that precision. And those are 3 techniques, and we worked on some of the combinations. So hopefully if you watch this video and you're in my class, this kind of helps you out in your basic form number 2. I'm Master K, and I'll talk to you later.